Dear Dan and Harold, creators of the Ghostbusters franchise, it is hard to see how the Ghostbusters movie have been chewed and spit by Hollywood. The franchise has undergone negative publicity that ruined it completely. In their effort to become more inclusive, they forgot the main purpose of the films should be entertainment and the rest should be an added bonus. What's worse is that the chance of a rebound is not possible. The damage has been done. Fans that left have no chance of ever coming back to it. A new movie in the franchise was released this year titled Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, on a budget of around $100 million. It has managed to gross a worldwide total of $195 million in the box office as at the time of making this video. The movie is yet to turn a profit.
Many thanks.
Economists know that there is no chance of ever making back its massive budget. When making these types of movies with expensive budgets, the studios should make sure that the film is worth watching and not a waste of time for the audiences. The studios always forget the core backbone of their respective franchise. That is why the plot is always misplaced. The characters do not have good chemistry with each other. Main characters' actions do not make sense because it goes against their character in the comics. An example in mind is Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones series. The latest movie of the Ghostbusters was not written well. The movie should be retired altogether because every flop continues to damage the franchise. The studio should appoint someone who understands the source material and has the ability to innovate new, exciting things that the audience have not seen and want to see, not just recycling everything that the audiences have already seen. There are no new exciting concepts or characters being introduced. Fans have already seen everything as it regards to the franchise. Choose a different location per se. Not every character should be goofy. Every character should be different with their own personal motivations. The chemistry between the teams should be amazing. Nowadays, in every movie, the characters are carbon copy of other characters. The characters are not special anymore. The movie has not been innovative for a long period of time. That is why most audiences want to go to watch the film. Nowadays, audiences expect the best entertainment for them to go to the theaters. The last Ghostbusters movie, titled Ghostbusters Afterlife, grossed $204 million against a budget of $75 million. The franchise has been squeezed to its limit. This is one of those franchises that Hollywood should retire and never see the light of day. It is hard to believe that the first Ghostbuster movie was released in 1984. I saw the movie, which is not a brag because I'm freaking old. I was working in the theaters. I loved the job, free popcorns. You could just leave your station and watch unlimited movies in the screens. Nowadays, if you do that, they don't give you a bonus. This crazy world. Back in 1984, the film managed to gross $297 million against a budget of $13 million. The interest for the franchise was at an all-time high. I wonder why the studios did not use the time to pump out more movies. Marvel and DC during the superhero era pumped out more movies because fans were really hungry for the movies. It worked well for Marvel only, and DC became the laughingstock. The trend has not stopped. The next sequel was released 5 years later in 1989 on a budget of $40 million and grossed $215 million. It made less than the first entry. So what happened? The studio freaked out. Instead of inventing something new with the franchise, introduce a new creative team to steer the franchise in a new direction. They already had a strong fan base. Plus, they were making money from the merchandise deals. The studios waited until 2016 and managed to release the worst movie of that franchise. A lot of fans were deeply angry at the approach taken by the studio. Instead of being a Ghostbuster movie, that stars women, it became women's movie in a Ghostbusters uniform. I cannot believe Chris Hemsworth was involved in this film. Like Tom Holland, he chooses awful projects to be involved in. An example will have to be Marvel's Love and Thunder, Men in Black. The 2016 Ghostbusters movie greedily tried to be more inclusive so that they can make more women love the franchise and increase their level of profits. Instead of bringing their existing fan base along with them for the ride, they shot themselves in the foot. They brutally destroyed the entirety of its fans. That was a very good idea by the studios. Great job. The film had gone over the fence to appeal to a demographic that doesn't want to see the film. The movie creators apologized and again promised more Ghostbusters movies that would be good, but it was over. The franchise had been declared dead by the fans. Not losing hope, the studios released another movie in 2024. And it was good. It had great characters, plot, storyline. There was heart in the film. The film is decent. I encourage anyone who has time to go to the theaters and watch it. The film is not the greatest thing by any imagination. It cannot compete with the first entry that started the entirety of the franchise. The creators of the movie gave everything they had to make sure audiences love the film. Many fans have already loved it and they have declared that they will come back to the franchise. Lesson of the day is never to give up. The truth is that when movies flop in the box office, thousands of people are affected, and that includes the theater business. Ever since 2020, most movie theaters have filed for bankruptcy. Some are laying off the employees, many with families and children to take care of. The big studios in California do not get that millions of people suffer for making horrific movies. Every time they make boneheaded decisions that destroy their franchise, more people are affected. That includes the fans, because they are already invested in the characters. I'm not saying the studios have the responsibility of caring about people's livelihood or their feelings or the fans, but an example has to be the comic book industry. The comic book industry was thriving back when Marvel was making great movies. With Iron Man, Captain America, Avengers, fans could buy other books from unknown publishers in the same comic book stores. The success of Marvel Comics was the success of all comic books as a whole. But when Marvel lost direction and started making boneheaded decisions, like releasing the Eternals, Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, Ant-Man, Quantumania, most comic book shops closed down because fans were not interested in the main franchise anymore. And in the end, all other unknown comic books were shut down. What am I saying? I actually don't know. I don't know. I'll be seeing you in the next video.